everyone. Okay. So, some of you know me, some of you don't, but I'll just introduce myself. I have some notes I was going to follow, but I think I have them all in my microbes, in my brain. So autism, your kid's diagnosed with autism, now what? So there's so many avenues, so little time. Okay, you come to these conferences, you get a lot of information. There's just so many roads you can travel, and so how do you know which one to pick? So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been an occupational therapist for going on 24 years now, and my son Ben was diagnosed when he was 3, and now he is 12, and so it's been 9 long years traveling through what I like to, or I hate to call, but this is a dark warehouse called autism, right? And if I've learned anything on the journey, I looked at the kids around me, I looked at the parents that were having success, that their kids were improving. And so for me, personally, I had to decide, which road I was going to travel. Was I going to become a warrior, or was I going to remain a victim and let this destroy us? Okay? So I don't want to lose my train of thought here. Okay. I don't want to forget to tell you anything. Okay. Okay, so really over time, what I learned is that, I kept listening to parents around me and educating myself, going to conferences like this, and more importantly, studying my child and keeping a journal, becoming a really good observer. And by doing that, keeping a diary, I knew what to tell my doctor the next time we went in to see him. So, oh, it switched. So a mother or a dad dreams the best for his or her child to get better. So like I said, for me personally, I had to decide if I was a warrior or a victim. Educating yourself, knowledge is power. And like Dr. Ruggiero said, when we first started out on the journey, we got to be a patient of Dr. Jeff Bradstreet. And for those of you that don't know him, in my opinion, he was one of the most world-renowned physicians of our time. And I always say that we stand on the shoulders of our teachers. And in order for us to get to that point, we have to rely on the knowledge, that we've learned from our teachers. And for me, Dr. Bradstreet was a huge catalyst for change in my son's life. And so I'll get more into that on the next slide. So going to all these conferences as parents, it can be really overwhelming, especially if you're new on the journey. And something that really helped me was I made a list of 5 things, and I put them on my refrigerator. It was a constant reminder. So just remember, food is medicine. Food can be medicine or poison, not just for our kids, but for ourselves. And so right away, I knew that as an OT, the kids on my caseload that were doing the best with autism, they were on this gluten-free, casein-free diet. And what I didn't know then, which I quickly learned, was that gluten has an opiate-like effect on the brain. So it was no wonder my son was raiding the pantry and eating hamburger buns like they were going out of style. Why is my kid laughing all the time? Why is he hanging upside down? So he went through a big detox, sweating at night and just going through a lot of changes. And it was scary because you're thinking, am I doing the right thing? But I thought, everything that we're doing is research-based. It's proven itself safe and effective. If you know that in your heart, there's no harm in diet. So what one diet works for one child may not work for another. But for us, we started gluten-free, dairy-free. Okay. And number 2, remember that vitamins and minerals are essential. For Ben, I know I looked at he was lacking in calcium and B12 and magnesium. So it's always good to get a baseline to know where your kid is at lacking in minerals, especially a good multivitamin that we really like is the ANRC Essentials by Dr. Jim Adams. I know you probably, all of you are familiar with that. It's a really good one to start with. Number 3, supplementation. Just wherever your kiddo's lacking, especially a good probiotic. Okay, for us, We 2 years ago did a fecal transplant with Jim Adams, and now we are on the Bravo probiotic yogurt, which has been life-changing for us, which I'll get to in the next slide. And for those of you that want to sample it, Dr. Piccini has some Bravo yogurt in the back for you to try. Number 4, detox. That can mean a number of things. Ben was constipated a lot in the beginning, so we really had to look at the diet. We did Epsom salt baths. I made sure he went to the bathroom a couple times a day. As an OT, I had to remind myself that going to the bathroom is an ADL, activity of daily living. So really look at detox. So even if you're on a good diet and supplementing with vitamins and minerals, you want to mobilize those toxins out of the body. More recently, we've added in the 8 essential amino acids to help with the detox. Okay, and then number 5 is to believe. Ask yourself, what do I believe about autism? Do I look at autism as the end of the road? Or do I believe that my kid can get better? And so, like I said in the beginning, decide warrior or victim. And what do you believe about autism? Align yourself with a doctor that feels the same way you do and can help your child get to that point. But the most important thing is the key is to always be doing something and believe that you and your kiddo are a team and work together. Okay, this is just a brief timeline and observations. This year, 2016, I've had a series of divine appointments. Mid-February, I was at an OT conference, and unbeknownst to me, I had no idea about Jeff's passing, the tragic death, about our doctor. I learned from someone at this OT conference what had happened, and that led to endless nights of research and, gosh, what happened? And through Google, and through divine intervention, I was Googling, all of Jeff's most recent speeches, Autism One, and I kept hearing Marco, Bravo, Marco, Bravo. I thought, who is this guy and what is this Bravo? So anyway, I truly believe that divine intervention led me to Dr. Ruggiero, and that started a journey together at Autism One where we got to share our story, and here we are today. Okay, so February 28th, we switched from GFCF diet to the ketogenic diet, which for those of you that don't know about what a ketogenic diet is, it's pretty much removing all grains, which for kids it's really hard. But Ben being gluten-free, dairy-free since he was 3, it made it much easier. So we focus on buying grass-fed meats, fish, of course, wild-caught fish, organic vegetables, minimal fruit that are low in the glycemic index. Of course, no artificial sugars or dyes. It is challenging, but for us, he's always been a gut kid. He had high yeast when he was little, and I just knew that this was the way we needed to go. So, like I said, what works for us may not work for you, but the ketogenic for him and myself has been a game changer in this protocol. So we started that February 28th. March 1st, we started the Bravo probiotic yogurt. And then within 3 days, these are the things we noticed. Improved eye contact, his belly bloating was gone, no longer wetting the bed, sitting for family meals, seeking out purposeful activities. He started asking for help, not just from us, but from his teachers, and only requiring one verbal prompt for his morning routine. Okay, on March 28th, we introduced an immunotherapy derived from nature, which it's highly concentrated in D2, D3, oleic acid, and chondroitin sulfate. And then a month later, the things that we noticed were improved reading skill, new language, generating of his own ideas, more social engagement, initiating his own responsibilities, and articulation of internal healing. So what do I mean by internal healing? Okay, I'll let Ben tell you.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Mom.
Can you say good morning to everyone?
Good morning, everyone.
Ben, can you tell us, what do you think is happening to the autism?
The autism is going away.
It's going away?
It's going away.
Does that mean you're getting better?
Yes.
You're awesome, buddy. You've worked really hard. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Love ya. So that's Ben. He knows what's happening in his body. That was totally unprompted, just a natural conversation with he and I, which is totally new, those exchanges. Okay. Good morning, Ben. Whoops. Okay, so putting all the pieces together for us. So it's been, gosh, about 6 months. Ketogenic diet, Bravo, yogurt, the immunotherapy, and I thought, gosh, what do we need to do next? So like I said, I'm always kind of looking ahead, like, is there something else that I'm not looking at? I realized that even though we were detoxing through diet and adding in the good microbes with the Bravo, that we needed to mobilize those toxins. So we started an intake of the 8 essential amino acids. And then within 3 days of doing that, we take it in the morning and then the evening. He started initiating chores in the morning before school. He's now earning 100% on spelling test. His vocabulary has improved 3 grade levels. He chooses to draw, color, or do Legos versus electronics. I'm now seeing him wanting to walk the dog on his own and is now capable of lying. I know. I'm almost
Important developmental milestone.
It is. And who would be happy about their kid lying? Right, all of us autism parents. So that is a higher level executive functioning skill. So I'll just tell you what happened. Our laundry room is upstairs, and I was folding laundry, and it overlooks our front driveway where I can see what's going on in the front of the house. And I said, Ben, what are you going to do? And he said, oh, I'm going to go clean my room. I was like, wow, we'll just add that to the journal. And then next minute, I'm folding laundry, and I see him, he's kicking the soccer ball outside with another kid. I thought, he lied to me. He said he was doing one thing and did another. Either that or he changed his mind. But anyway, I thought for him to initiate that on his own was pretty amazing. So there he is. This is last summer. You can just see he's just lighting up more.
Yeah.
And then before I play the video, people come up to me and say, wow, Ben's doing so well. You really pulled him out of the window, or you saved him. And I say, no, he saved me. Because what the protocol that he's doing is the one I'm doing. We're both finding healing.
There are 5 things to do to be healthy. Bravo yogurt. Eat healthy foods. Bravo yogurt. Get the poops out.
Get the poops out.
Wear them. And hug your mom.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Sure.
I love you. I love you.
I love you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Leave me alone, Mom, right? So that's Ben. So I want to just leave you with, no matter where you are in the journey, whether you're, here very new, first few months, first few days, you've been on it for years, the key is to always keep doing something, okay? And follow your gut, literally. Are we listening to the microbes in our gut or our brain, right? But anyway, the key is to merge them together. And my mantra has always been faith, hope, recovery. Recovery meaning my kid can make a friend on his own. And now I'm adding in the knowledge piece, because knowledge is power. So my wish for all of you is faith, hope, knowledge, and recovery. And that's our story.